This is The Wire for 2300 Zulu, February 11th, 2026. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2200. Bottom line up front. Mass shooting reported in Canada. Major airspace closures reported along U.S.-Mexico border. Beginning with international events, yesterday afternoon a mass shooting was reported in Tumbler Ridge, a small town in British Columbia. The attack began with the assailants murdering two people inside a private residence, at least one of which was the suspect's mother. After these initial murders, the suspect maneuvered to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School where he conducted the mass shooting, which ended after the suspect took his own life. Concerning casualties, a total of 9 fatalities have been reported so far, 6 fatalities at the school, 2 at the residence, and the shooter himself. Roughly 25 others were also wounded during the attack. Analysts comment. Regarding the motive, this shooting appears to be the standard transgender mass shooting. As the shooting was ongoing, authorities referred to the shooter as a woman in a dress and used the term gun person to describe the suspect. After some time, the suspect was identified as Jesse Van Rutselaar, who was a male transitioning to female. On the home front, in Texas, substantial airspace closures have been reported throughout the region, which have been issued and retracted. Early this morning, 2 temporary flight restrictions, or TFRs, were issued for 2 areas along the Mexican border. NOTAM number 2233 was issued just before midnight yesterday evening, which grounded all aircraft at El Paso International Airport for a period of 10 days. No flights, no exceptions. A similar flight restriction, number 2234, was also imposed for an area to the west of El Paso along the Mexican border. A few hours after the El Paso Airport NOTAM was issued, it was abruptly retracted. NOTAM 2234, the area along the border adjacent to El Paso, remains in effect as before, with this airspace sector being closed for the next 10 days. This afternoon, the White House stated that this was all related to an imminent threat involving cartel drone activity, and aircraft were grounded due to counter-UAS measures being deployed, which might have inadvertently targeted civilian aircraft. Analyst comments for this wire. The airspace closure of El Paso alone is very interesting, as the type of airspace closure is extremely rare due to the location, timing, and scope of the closure. As a result, there are a few wildly differing possibilities as to what actually happened. In short, last night the FAA dropped a no-fly zone akin to what was issued on 9/11 directly over the El Paso airport. The wording of the NOTAMs, or rather the lack thereof, is also highly interesting, as no concessions were made for any sort of exception at all. This was a hard-line, we will shoot you down if you take off kind of no-fly zone. No medical aircraft, no police helicopters, absolutely nothing allowed to be in the air, not even military aircraft were granted an exemption. As to what the truth actually is, it's anyone's guess and probably is a blend of all the theories expressed so far. It's certainly possible that the official story is true and that cartel drones breached U.S. airspace and various emergency measures were employed to discombobulate the drones. It's also possible that this was an overreaction brought on by personality clashes in El Paso and not an actual threat. Most seriously, it's equally possible that the threat was not the standard cartel recon drones but something vastly more dangerous, which presented a direct threat to civilian aircraft. Cartel drones have been operating in the border region for many years, both for the purposes of smuggling drugs across the border, but also for conducting reconnaissance of U.S. Border Patrol positions, though these recon flights don't normally take place at night. These flights have prompted nearly daily warnings and temporary ground stops, but not the break glass in case of war airspace closure that was issued last night. So whatever happened was an anomaly that has not been made public at the present time. More broadly, this was a serious situation all around, and if this is an early indication and warning of an intensification of cartel activity as winter comes to a close, incidents like this will probably increase over the next few months. This concludes The Wire for 2300 Zulu, February 11th, 2026.